It's great to be here with you all in Arizona. I know I have some Arizona Sun Devil fans in the house. I got some Arizona Wildcat fans. And if I have any Arizona Cardinal fans, we'll say a prayer for you guys, all right? Everyone, I want you to say a football term with me that's going to actually come back around, and we're going to talk about changing the world. But everyone say this with me. Everyone say, first half. Give me a little bit of that Arizona energy. Everybody say first half. Second half. Oh, that was good. Let's try it one more time. First half. Second half. We were playing a game. It was the game of the week on TV. Millions were watching this game. And not only that, the ESPN announcers had their suits on, and they predicted that we were going to get blown out because the team we were playing was undefeated. We already had 3 losses in the season. This was actually my last game at USC. The thing about it was the adrenaline was so heavy. We were so pumped. We began to walk down that tunnel, and when we got to the edge of the tunnel, the adrenaline was there, the TV cameras, and I promise you there were 90,000 people in the stadium. It was so loud, it felt like the stadium was vibrating. We ran out on the field. First series of the game, the other team, they break the huddle, break. Those big linemen start jogging up to the line, and they're like, boo, boo. Big bellies just jiggling up and down. You guys have all seen it on TV, right? Quarterback comes up, blue 88, red 44, hot, ball snaps. He drops back, and he begins to fire away on us. Shoo. And with precision, they begin to go up and down the field on us, and we could not stop them. It was one of the worst first halves I had ever played in. We had 0 at halftime, and the worst part is when we ran off the field, the 90,000 who were cheering for us began to make one sound, boo. We got in at halftime, our coach looked at us and basically just said, I don't care what the score is, and I don't care what the crowd is saying. I know one thing, you got it in you, and I know we can beat this team. We just got to get a new plan, a new strategy for the second half. Everybody say second half. We began to come back, and it was one of the great comebacks in history. One of my roommates, actually, great receiver, Eric, he catches a pass like I'd never seen before at the last minutes of the game, and when he catches it, people just wonder, how did he even make that catch? The striped shirt referee just stood there and raised both hands and said, touchdown, and the stadium went crazy. I didn't come here so much to tell you a story about a football game, because my challenge is not for you to become a world-class athlete, but a world-class person. But I had to tell you that story simply because we did not win the game in the first half. We won that game we won that game And just as you heard previous to me and many of you in here, one thing I do know, after being all over the world in 51 countries throughout Brazil, Bolivia, South Africa, Egypt, all throughout Europe and Australia, I know one thing, that in this audience, there are a lot of teenagers who've had some bad first halves. But the good news is that no matter what's happened in your first half, everybody here can have a great second half. What do I mean by first half? We have young people and teenagers who are being abused, abandoned, bullied, depressed, drug addicted, illiterate, incarcerated, suicidal, sex trafficked. But I'm here to give the good news. Never lose hope. I can say that with such passion because that is my story. I'm from one of the roughest cities in America, Los Angeles, California, but I lived in the Crenshaw area, the very rough part of LA. My father actually got involved with substance abuse. He actually committed suicide when I was 4 years old. My mother had all of her struggles with all of that. I went to actually 19 different schools before I got to the 10th grade. After my father had died, my mother got a boyfriend. He was abusive, and there was domestic violence for years in my home. I struggled academically. I was in the remedial class. That's the class for the students who struggled academically and in reading. And I remember sitting in those classes and hearing the sound, shh, and I would look to the side and hear it again, shh. And it was the sound of people changing pages, and I was still on the first page. I would cry and hold the tears and wipe them away so my friends couldn't see. And sometimes what happens is we feel like our first half, that is our destiny, but that is not true. There was somebody that began to encourage me and inspire me and let me know I could make it. And they said, Keith, you don't have to be great to get started. You just got to get started to be great. I began to work and I began to read and I began to study. I said to my mom, Mom, I got a big dream. I want to go to college. I actually went to elementary school right across the street from USC at one time out of those 19 schools. And who would have thought that years later I would be standing on a stage at the University of Southern California, graduating the #1 academic student on my team, academic All-Pac-12, academic All-American nominee. Actually, I was graduating so high that my mother was in the crowd as all the people were clapping. She had tears running down her eyes. She wasn't crying because she was sad. She was crying because she was proud, making noise that only my mom and your mom can make. And it's nothing like making mom proud. Let's give our mom and grandmas a big hand clap right now. Everybody say second half. There were some men who imparted to me, who encouraged me, who mentored me. And so I'm going to give you a challenge today. Our goal is to, in TED Talks, to give you a challenge. My challenge is that the pain of your first half has produced a strength in you that would allow you to change the second half, not only of your life, but of the world. Had a girl at an assembly, I remember just recently, came up, told me she was so inspired, and she was making a change for her second half. And the thing about it was she had tears in her eyes at first, and she had reached down and grabbed the sleeve of her hoodie and pulled it up on me, and I looked, and she had all kind of cuts up and down her arm. And I just looked at her, and I said, second half. And she said, second half. No more hurting. The pain on the inside was worse than the pain on the outside, but she decided to reach out and find some help. And now she's able to help others. Second half. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about changing the world. It takes strength not here, but here. People say, how did you get so strong? You can lift 500 pounds. Did you ever try steroids? I say no steroids, just cornbread, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and collard greens. Everybody say second half. I talk about my mom. My mom recently passed away of a disease called cancer. I was holding her hand as she was in the hospital. She got to the point she couldn't talk, but she could move her hand, and then one day she couldn't move her hand. And by the way, she didn't pass away with that domestic violence. No alcohol, no drugs, no more confusion in her life. I always like to say, my mom lived a wonderful second half. There was a point in time where there was a change. And this conference, or those who are watching online, this time is the halftime. Do you know how many teenagers I meet who wake up in the morning and feel like they are like the 90,000 people who are in the crowd who were booing us? They go to their own home and they feel boo. I had one girl tell me, my father, he doesn't call, he doesn't write, he doesn't visit. She said he treats me like I'm not even his daughter. I just whispered to her, second half. I had a girl who told me, she said, I've been going out with a guy for 2 years, and he's been treating me like complete crap. And I've been putting up with it. She says, I'm making a change. I'm getting rid of him. And then she did a theme that I had spoke about that day. And in big giant letters, she had a letter, and it said, because today I realize that I am a queen. Everybody say second half. Everything about you is different. Your strength, your character, everything. So let's talk about changing the world real quick. I got something very interesting. Just bear with me for a second. You're going to wonder, why do I even have this? I have something you've all seen, you've all touched, you've all felt. I have one big, thick very heavy frying pan or skillet. No, I'm not going to fry chicken. But I do want to talk to you today about the second half. I don't do this very often, but I have a friend of mine who is very, very strong, one of the strongest players ever to play. And he would grab this frying pan, and I kept looking, and I said, that's impossible. Nobody can do that. I had never seen anything. The students would flip out. I was amazed the first time I saw it. So I'm going to give it my best. Hopefully I can make it. But I'm going to grab this frying pan, place it in the middle of my chest, and with everything I have, I'm going to pull, push, press, bend, and I'm going to try to roll this frying pan up to this thing looks like a steel burrito. You're in Arizona, you know about burritos, Chipotle, right? But I do want to do a little theme that's even more, a little deeper. I want to talk about the strength we have to change someone's life, and then I'll end it with something very inspirational. So I'm going to need you to give me some of that energy you got. I'm going to get a little adrenaline and some music that gives me a little bit of energy, and you guys got to help me out. Are y'all ready? I can't hear y'all. Are y'all ready? Come on, help me out. Here we go. Party's getting it started. You got to help me out. Come on. Everyone say second half. Everyone say change the shape. I'm here to say, first of all, for my young men, don't go home trying to impress your girlfriends by bending frying pans, okay? Do the dishes, she'll be more impressed. Just wash the dishes. Secondly, it's in your hands. They have hashtag for this TED Talk. It says hashtag world in mind. That means I have to dream bigger in my second half, push harder, study harder, and I have to be a giver and not a taker. I need to be successful, not only successful, but significant. Success is when you work really, really hard to better yourself, but significance is when you work really, really hard to better someone else's life. Winston Churchill said it like this. He said, history will speak kindly about me because I intend to write it. You may be 16 here, and you said, I'm going to change the shape of the world. I met a 16-year-old girl in Ohio, and she said to me, I want to be a doctor, not because I want a big house or a big car. I took a trip to Honduras. I saw so many young people with no medical care or dental care. I believe I can take a whole team of medical physicians, and we could change that country. Second half, change the world. I'm here to challenge you that you have a strength that no one knows about. Because you've been through so much in your first half, it allows you power to change people's lives. I need you to be counselors, coaches, mentors, no longer waiting on the government, no longer waiting on the juvenile justice system, no longer waiting on the foster care system, no longer waiting on child protective services, but you are teenagers who are active in changing someone's life. Second half. It's an awesome day. I decided years ago I want to be a part of changing the world. Hashtag world in mind. So I said, let's go to schools around the country and encourage young people. And then we begin, obviously, to expand globally. And now you're on that team as well. So I'll wind it up like this. Mahatma Gandhi says, we must become the change we desire to see. Andrew Carnegie said, a man is not rich until he enriches others. Can I say this? You are awesome. You are one of a kind. You are here at TED because your world changes. So I'll close with a quick inspirational poem that I say to myself each day as I'm living my second half. I have a beautiful family now. I have a beautiful wife. My wife actually was an All-American sprinter at UCLA. My wife is fast, and she's fine. I have 2 beautiful sons, and we have something in our home money can't buy. It's called peace. And as I close with this poem, I want you to get your head up, your dream up, and like she said previously, forgive as you change the word. The poem is called I Am One, and it goes like this. I am one. Yes, I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. And what I can do, I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I will do. Because I am one. Yes, I am only one, but I am one. Everyone say second half. Change the world. Thank you so much. You guys have been great. Thank you.